Rain poured heavily over the small roadside gas station on the outskirts of town. The grey sky mirrored the heaviness in Marcus Johnson's heart as he wiped his greasy hands on a worn cloth. Marcus was a quiet man in his mid-30s who had spent most of his life working hard and asking for very little. The gas station where he worked was old and nearly forgotten, sitting beside a lonely highway where trucks and tired travelers stopped briefly before disappearing again. Marcus fixed engines, pumped gas, and cleaned windshields. The job barely paid enough to support his 6-year-old daughter, Lily, but he never complained. Lily was the light of his life. Every night she would greet him with a hug so tight it made the exhaustion fade away. That afternoon, a sleek black sports car pulled into the station. It was the kind of car Marcus had only seen in magazines. The driver stepped out, a sharply dressed man in his 40s wearing an expensive suit and sunglasses despite the cloudy sky. His name was Victor Steele, a wealthy businessman known around town for his arrogance. Victor looked around the dusty station with obvious disgust. Marcus approached politely. "Afternoon, sir. Need fuel or help with something?" Victor smirked. "My engine light came on. I doubt someone like you knows how to fix a car like this." Marcus remained calm. "I can take a look if you'd like." Victor tossed him the keys carelessly. "Fine. But don't scratch anything. That car costs more than this entire station." Marcus quietly opened the hood and inspected the engine. Within minutes he realized the issue was minor, a loose connection. He fixed it quickly. When he finished, Marcus approached Victor with the keys. "It's all set, sir. Just a loose sensor." Victor laughed loudly. "That fast? What did you do? Pray over it." Marcus tried to remain respectful. "It should run fine now." Victor started the car. The engine purred smoothly. But instead of thanking Marcus, Victor suddenly frowned. "Wait, did you touch anything else?" "No, sir." Victor's expression turned cold. "My navigation system is glitching now. You must have broken something." Marcus shook his head. "I didn't go near the interior." Victor stepped closer, towering over him. "You expect me to believe that? You probably don't even understand half the technology in this car." The station owner, Mr. Carter, watched nervously from the door but stayed silent. Victor pulled out his phone. "I'm calling the police. Let's see what they say." Marcus's heart pounded. If Victor accused him of damaging the car, he could lose his job. Marcus swallowed hard. "You can call whoever you want. I didn't touch anything." Victor laughed mockingly. "Oh, I will." Then he handed Marcus the phone sarcastically. "Actually, why don't you call someone? A lawyer? A miracle worker?" Marcus hesitated. Then slowly, he dialed a number. Victor crossed his arms smugly. "Go ahead. Call whoever you want." Marcus placed the phone to his ear. A moment passed. Then someone answered. Marcus spoke quietly. "Hello. Dad." Victor burst out laughing. "You called your dad." Marcus remained silent. Victor leaned closer with a grin. This should be entertaining. But what Victor didn't know was who Marcus's father really was. Victor leaned against his car, clearly enjoying the situation. Marcus spoke calmly into the phone. "Hi, Dad. I'm sorry to bother you." Victor rolled his eyes. "Oh, this is priceless." Marcus continued quietly. "I'm at work. There's a man accusing me of damaging his car." Victor snorted. "Tell Daddy to come fix it." Marcus listened for a moment, then nodded slightly. "Okay, thank you." He hung up. Victor clapped slowly in mock applause. "Well done. Is your father bringing his toolbox?" Marcus didn't answer. Instead, he simply returned to cleaning his tools. Victor scoffed. "You people are unbelievable. Always pretending to be something you're not." Mr. Carter walked over nervously. "Sir, maybe we can sort this out peacefully." Victor cut him off. "No. Someone is paying for my car." Marcus spoke softly. "The car is fine." Victor leaned closer. "Then why did you call someone?" Marcus replied simply, "Because you told me to." Victor laughed again. Fair enough. Minutes passed. Rain continued falling. Then suddenly, the distant sound of sirens echoed down the highway. Victor frowned. That's quick. Marcus kept working silently. 2 police SUVs pulled into the station. Victor smirked confidently. Perfect. 2 officers stepped out and approached, but instead of questioning Marcus, they walked straight toward Victor. Sir, please step away from the vehicle. Victor blinked in confusion. What? More vehicles appeared behind them. Black SUVs. Marcus recognized them instantly. Victor did not. The doors opened. Several serious-looking men stepped out wearing dark suits and earpieces. Victor's arrogance slowly faded. Who are these people? Marcus said nothing. Then a final black sedan pulled into the station. It stopped. The driver stepped out and opened the back door. An older man in a military uniform stepped out. Every officer instantly stood straighter. Victor whispered nervously, "Wait, who is that?" Marcus looked up quietly. "That's my father." Victor's face drained of color, because the man walking toward them was General Daniel Johnson, one of the most respected military leaders in the country. The rain seemed to pause as General Daniel Johnson stepped onto the wet pavement. His presence carried quiet authority. Even the police officers stood straighter. Victor stared in disbelief. That can't be real. Marcus walked forward respectfully. "Hi, Dad." The general's stern expression softened instantly. "Marcus." They hugged briefly. Victor's mouth hung open. "You're his son." Marcus nodded. Victor tried to laugh nervously. "Well, this is unexpected." The general turned toward Victor slowly. "What seems to be the problem here?" Victor swallowed. I thought your son damaged my vehicle." The general looked at Marcus. "Did you?" Marcus shook his head. "No, sir." The general nodded once. Then he turned back to Victor. "My son served 2 tours overseas as a mechanic for military vehicles." Victor blinked. "He did. He repaired armored trucks under enemy fire." Victor's confidence collapsed. The general stepped closer. "And you think he can't fix your sports car?" Victor looked down. "I may have overreacted." Marcus quietly spoke. "The car works fine." Victor rubbed the back of his neck. "Yeah, it does." One of the agents approached the general and whispered something. The general nodded. Then he turned back to Victor. "You accused my son publicly." Victor stammered. "I didn't know who he was." The general's voice remained calm. "That should not matter." Silence fell. Rain dripped from the gas station roof. Victor suddenly looked small. Then he did something no one expected. He turned toward Marcus. "I'm sorry." Marcus looked surprised. Victor continued quietly. "I shouldn't have treated you like that." Marcus nodded gently. "It's okay." The general watched silently. Then he placed a hand on Marcus's shoulder. "You've always been the better man." Marcus smiled slightly. But the story wasn't over yet, because Victor had just begun to realize something even more shocking. Victor stood there awkwardly, completely different from the arrogant man who arrived earlier. He looked at Marcus again. "Why are you working here?" Marcus shrugged slightly. "It's honest work." Victor frowned. "But your father is." Marcus interrupted kindly. "Important." Victor nodded slowly. Marcus smiled softly. "He taught me something important growing up." The general watched quietly. Marcus continued. "He always said your job doesn't define your worth. Your character does." Victor looked ashamed. Marcus returned the car keys. "Your car is ready." Victor stared at the keys. Then he pushed them back. "No." Marcus looked confused. "I mean, yes, it works. But that's not what I mean." Victor took a deep breath. "I own a large automotive company." Marcus blinked. "You do?" Victor nodded. "We maintain hundreds of vehicles across the state." He paused. "And clearly, we need someone who actually knows what they're doing." Marcus shook his head politely. "I'm fine here." Victor insisted. At least consider it. Mr. Carter stepped forward nervously. He's the best mechanic I've ever had. Victor smiled slightly. I believe it. The general said nothing. He simply watched his son. Victor pulled a card from his wallet and handed it to Marcus. If you ever want a better opportunity, call me. Marcus looked at the card quietly. Thank you. Victor then turned to the general. Sir, I apologize for everything. The general nodded. Learn from it. Victor got into his car, but before driving away, he rolled down the window. Marcus. Marcus looked up. You're a better man than me. Then he drove away into the rain. The gas station slowly returned to normal. Police vehicles left. The black SUVs disappeared. Only Marcus and his father remained. The general looked around the small station. You're happy here? Marcus nodded. I am. The general smiled proudly. You never used my name. Marcus shrugged. You told me not to. The general chuckled softly. That I did. They stood quietly for a moment. Then the general asked something unexpected. How is Lily? Marcus's face brightened. She's great. She's learning to read. The general smiled warmly. She gets that from you. Marcus laughed. Definitely not from me. They shared a moment of silence. Then the general looked serious again. You know, most people would have used my name to scare him. Marcus shook his head. That wouldn't be right. The general's eyes showed pride. That's why I came. Marcus frowned slightly. You didn't have to. The general smiled. Yes, I did. Just then, a small school bus stopped across the road. Lily jumped off and ran toward Marcus. Daddy. Marcus lifted her into his arms. Hey, sweetheart. She looked at the general. Grandpa. He knelt down and hugged her. Victor's expensive car was long gone, but something far more valuable remained. Respect, kindness, and a reminder that true greatness isn't about power, money, or status. It's about how you treat people who seem to have none. And on that rainy afternoon, one arrogant man learned a lesson he would never forget, because the mechanic he mocked was already richer than him in the ways that truly mattered.